Hey everybody, it's Bus with Battles with Bus number 271, and today we're doing battle with Leona Aurelion Soul. And so, hopefully you aren't too tired of Leona at this point. This is our third video in a row. Taking her into battle, we played the Noxan version 2 videos ago. We played the Diana version the previous video, and now we're moving on to the Aurelion Soul version. And so, this deck, it does bring some interesting angles, right? It's not nearly as aggressive as the Noxan version. Don't get that idea in your head whatsoever. This is most certainly a control deck. But it doesn't have the same kind of mid-rangey aspects as the Shadow Isles Diana version or even the Aphelios version. We're definitely looking to get to the late game and get these Aurelion Souls on the board and try and take that to victory. But we still have to ask ourselves, how are we best taking advantage of these Daybreak units, right? We get these really gigantic units for a turn. And the way that we're going to use those is in 3 different things. And so number one, they do let us get some pretty good board stall. If your opponent is trying to hit you with a bunch of 2-2s and 3-3s and 3-2s or whatever, dropping a 3-6 onto the board does tend to shut that down for a turn, buy you quite a bit of time. If your opponent's coming at you with just big units, right? If they're coming at you with, say, a 6-6, and then you shut it down for the turn with a stun from either the Solari Sunhawk or for the Leona, that's going to buy you quite a bit of time. And you just have this really, really great way to stall out the board. And so the first kind of piece of the puzzle is if we've stalled out the game for so long, how are we going to take advantage of this big board that we put down? And the answer here today is going to be Champion Strength. Champion Strength is the kind of premier Demacia-based rally in the current format. And if you're able to just stall the game out, right? Just put these big units on board, never attack, you should pretty easily get a board full of 6 units to where the Champion Strength will easily close out the game. But we can't always count on getting to turn 6 or turn 7 without actually doing anything other than playing units. And so the next big thing that Demacia gives you access to are the good removal spells. And so we get the 3 copies of Single Combat along with the 2 copies of Concerted Strike. It gives us a fantastic way to take advantage of all of our units' stats. And so again, leaning back to the Solari Shield Bearer, if we drop this 3-6 onto the board, that's going to be able to single combat down pretty much any unit that costs less than 4 mana. And then as we move into our bigger units like Ravoon, he can take down pretty much every relevant unit in the game. And so that is a nice change of pace, if you will, from the other varietals of this deck, and that having the good removal spells definitely lets you interact with your opponent, whether or not that's trying to take down some of the problem stuff like Jinx or take down the various elusives. It's just something that these other versions of the Leona deck don't get access to. Last but not least in here, we do have this absolutely fantastic late game package. The card generation that you get from Ravoon and Eclipse Dragon, and then tying that in with Aurelion Soul. You don't need to be drawing cards when your units are just generating cards that are so good. And so that's the kind of departure that you see from the Noxan version and even from the Diana version, is that if the games do stall out, if your opponent has a pretty nice anti-aggro package, then you're going to be able to delay the game for quite a bit and build up to just some of the most powerful cards in the game. And so those are the big kind of pillars of the deck. The last things I kind of want to call out are we are playing quite a bit of heal in this version. In the other decks, we haven't been playing things like Solari Sunforger, but getting the big life steals out of this guy can just buy insurmountable amounts of time. We're also seeing some of the cards like Guiding Touch just to give us a little bit more heal, again, as the games kind of drag on. You just have bigger and bigger late game than whatever your opponent's trying to do. And one of the kind of combos to note with this style of deck is from the top end of the stuff that we have, right? We have Ravoon with the permanent Daybreak thing. It does give you the opportunity to activate both halves of Eclipse Dragon, so you get the cheap dragon and then the Nightfall effect for the 2 additional cards. But the big thing that Eclipse Dragon is doing for us here is making the next dragon cost 2 less. And so we have these opportunities to where on turn 7 we play Eclipse Dragon, on turn 8 we play Aurelion Soul, and then that's just the biggest and bestest thing you can be doing around turn 8. We are playing the single copy of Dragon's Clutch. It ties in to both of these themes in that if we draw the 2 different dragons, Those dragons will specifically be Aurelion Soul and Eclipse Dragon, so we have another opportunity just to kind of pick them up at will. But the overwhelm aspect of this is quite powerful as well. If we have 19 power of overwhelm between Eclipse Dragon and Aurelion Soul, another fantastic way to close out the game that doesn't necessarily involve the champion's strength. And so, good stuff. I'm ready for battle. I hope you are too, because we are about to jump in. We're playing on our secondary account today. I did mention this account in the previous video. I've currently got my main account hanging out in the top 100 of Masters. I'd like to kind of wait a little bit to see if we qualify for seasonals for the Last Chance Gauntlet, or if we push up to about that 300 LP space to where you can start taking a 7-2 record to top cut seasonals. And as we're out here playing, slightly off meta style decks, I don't really want to challenge those rankings, and so still grinding it out with the Noxen version of Leona. So we're ready, we're on task, we're on point, but it's just kind of one of those things. I've been meaning to put together the second account for quite a while, and we're finally just doing it this season. I just didn't time it particularly well. But nonetheless, the battles have begun. We're going up against Darkness, and I think this should showcase quite a bit of the power of playing the Aurelion Soul Demacia versions opposed to some of the other ones, as this is a deck that very easily floods the board. They can get a lot of width between their things like Vile Feast and then just the various early game units like Conchologist, and it can be tough to attack through these things for a positive outcome. Like if he picks up a Quietus off of the Conchologist, it's a pretty easy shutdown and a pretty easy 2-for-1 for the opponent coming at us with a deck like Darkness. And so getting the opportunity to have a much later game plan can be quite nice. All right, I'm just going to play this a little bit slower here. We have a single combat in hand, and so I would like to kind of tie that in with our shield bearers. The Sun Guardian kind of came out of nowhere, so he lets us pivot just a little bit, but I think I'm still going to be happy with this single combat. And now I don't want to entirely trade with this Conchologist with the Soldier, since we already have the Champion Strength in hand. So we'll still try to grind his board down a little bit, but I don't want to be making trades here. All right, Conchologist number 2. What up, bro? Let's battle. Let's bang. I've been saying let's bang to all these units for quite a while now. But he's got the combat trick. It's okay. I'll go ahead and take down his other Conchologist, since we're going to be losing our unit anyways. Just keep that board cleared up a little bit. Not the most high-powered unit to be taking down with your single combat, but I think it's fine. Especially here if he's just going to be passing back and forth. That's kind of sweet. All right, he plays the Vagar, though. I think we have to take him down. We don't have a way to force Vagar into combat, and so just letting him sit around and build up the strength of his Darkness will let him take down our units we actually care about, like Ravun. And so I think the way that this one's going to kind of sequence out is we'll try and build up as much board as we can, but it's like at maximum we're just going to have 3 units at this point. And so if we have 3 units, that's not the most amazing champion strength, but we really only need like 3 dudes on board for it to be lethal against Darkness. And so we'll see what we can do. I'm still planning on playing the Shield Bearer this turn. That should let us go into the next turn, add the Sun Guardian and 3 bank, and then when we come back to our next attack, we'll have access to the champion strength. This dang cat! Oh my god, he's half figured out how to open doors, but he can't fully pull it off. Like he's done that cat thing to where they figure out that they've like seen you twist the knob, but they haven't quite quite fully maximized how to get that get that twist in. We don't have those flappy handles. We have the turny handles, and so he just doesn't have the thumbs to do it. Poor guy. Poor kitties. If they only had thumbs, they don't know what they're missing out on. So what do we got here? We got this 4 damage darkness. It's so brutal to just throw the Sun Guardian into it. I think we're going to have to pivot over to Leona and just give up on the champion strength for the round. Now, the thing that I say with champion strength is I feel like a lot of times people are unwilling to just play it when they don't have the attack token, right? You're typically going for that big burst of damage to where you get both the scout and the regular attack in, but we might find ourselves in a space to where we just need that one attack. So we'll see how it looks 2 turns from now. But like when we roll into this next turn, assuming he can't kill our Leona here, if he doesn't play Darkness now, it's going to be a little bit too slow for the upcoming turn. And if we get to be 2 units wider than the opponent and they're at like 3, then just playing the champion strength as a big rally could be enough to end it. All right, friends, let's battle. It is unfortunate just being 1 short with the dudes that we have on board. He's going to have another play here, but what you see a lot of times out of these decks is they don't play Vengeance as much as Minimorph, and so we might actually still get an attacker this turn and then keep the champion's strength looking pretty strong. Senna, interesting. She's not quite enough to take down our Leona here. He can fast speed this darkness into combat. We've forgotten about that here recently, but he's not going to be strong enough to take down Leona, so it's like he can hit her with the darkness, but then Senna won't be enough to get the kill. I'm curious if we didn't mess that up. I'm kind of interested in sunbursting down the Vhagar. He's not that scary given that he doesn't generate darkness this turn. But, like, 1 more card will make Vhagar be a bit of a problem. Right, 1 more darkness and he'll get the flip, and then he does generate the darknesses every turn. So we'll see. We'll see what opponent brings out. Ooh, hidden pathways. That doesn't seem awesome for them. It's going to kind of leave us in this spot to where we may want to just kill off 2 of his units, and then on the following turn, look to drop the champion strength. Not really excited about seeing that prank come in. If he wants to prank our champion strength, we might be a little bit too far away. We're only going to bank 1 mana this turn if we concerted strike. So. Tough stuff, my dude. Tough stuff. He's going to be guaranteed to hit it if he pranks, since we have a champion in hand. Interesting. So he played the Shadow Isles Tellstone, but then just didn't use it. Was he going to try and Spirit Journey his unit to get it out of combat? It's interesting. Interesting, I tell you. There he is. So many Vhagars today. So many. Well, that's the 3rd one. That's actually kind of important, because we've killed off the 3 Vhagars and then one Senna, and so it leaves him in a spot to where he might be it's tough for this deck to win without one of the champions, and if we've dealt with 4 of them, not ultra likely to have a bunch of them just hanging out. Let's see. This is one of these moments to where Like you typically see a bunch of removal spells come out of the opposing hand. Like I wouldn't be surprised to see him play like a Vengeance and one other card. Ooh, the mini morph, perfect. But it should leave us in a spot to where he spends all of his mana to not die, doesn't get to develop his board anymore, and then we just play Aurelion Soul next turn. All right, GG. Ah, we're one short. We said GG too soon. I didn't expect it. I didn't see it. That's okay, though. You said it too soon. It's a good thing we didn't emote. That's one of my favorite things in the game is taking down an opponent when they emote just a little bit too soon. And it's okay to say it verbally, right? As long as you're not just putting it directly on directly on the board, then it's okay. All right, Aurelion Soul's great. The Great Beyond should be quite good here as well. Give us just another spell-shielded big boy for him to have to try and deal with. I like it. Wow, that's bold. Keep your distance. Oh, I guess it's not that bold. I was expecting to be able to take down Senna with the Aurelion Soul, but not quite there. But no reason to block. He's not close to killing us with the Senna or anything, and so being one unit wider than him should be enough to take down a kill. I'd love to see this darkness pop off right now, though. Give us a shot to get the Great Beyond down. Zoe ready to come at you for that 1 damage elusive. The scariest Zoe 2023. Opponent's sitting at 1, no elusives in the deck. You gotta feed a removal spell onto her. I think we're fine. He says, "Uh-oh, oh shit." Much scary happening right now. What you got? Can you do it with the 6 damage darkness? I don't know, man. Seems like a tough call. Seems like a tough go at it. Playing stuff though. Really got 3 cards here for 6 mana. It's got to be like a 2/2 and 2, and you can't play things like Wallop in the middle of that. I guess you could have Darkness, Group Shot, and Wallop to stop this, but it's a pretty big ask. I guess he has played 3 Conchologists this game, so it's not entirely impossible, but it's tough to do. GG. Mark it a W for bust. Did you mark it? I marked it. Those of you keeping track at home, update your notebooks. All right, on to the next one. Hopefully we'll finish off some of these quests. I was thinking of doing the video for today. I made this account a little bit too late, and I'm trying to finish off the season pass, and there's all those like quests that get tied into it, like strike with Shuriman champions or weird shit like that, and I just never bother with it on my main account. Like even with not playing for like a week across the holiday season and reduced play around the holidays, I still finished it off like a week or 2 ago, just playing the constructed, and I've never had to think about like just going after the quests, but I was thinking, well, with this account, maybe I have a way to just kind of push it. I think there's only 2 days left on the event pass, and it just didn't seem that interesting. You know, it's like you can like I think it is nice that they have the alternate way to kind of put the coins together. You don't have to just come out and grind constructed, but I feel like just grinding constructed is more appealing for me. Nobody out here playing today? I'm still not certain how it works, but I think that there's definitely like hidden MMR stuff that's tied into the matchmaking, because I feel like over the course of the past few videos we've played against like one person that didn't have what seemed to be a, not necessarily a complete collection, but like a complete competitive deck, and I'm just kind of curious how that works. I know how this works. You're about to get aggroed, bro. Solari Soldier coming at you. Unprismatic. That's probably why we were kind of like one damage short for so long in that previous game. Was our units like, weren't living their best lives. They didn't have that prismatic attached to them just yet, and so I could definitely see it. He's Solari Soldier's definitely got some cannons on him, right? He works out, but you still got to put on your good shirt and stuff if you want to be feeling good out there. And I can kind of feel like maybe he wasn't feeling at max capacity. All right, but no reason to just immediately drop in the Sunhawks. We're going to be here for a while. There is like some strategy as you're playing against the Sundisk deck in terms of just not killing any of their units, right? If we want to stop and think about this board right now, like we're attacking, he's going to block with the Endless Devout. That's going to give him the access to the sarcophagus that continues on his plan of summoning and stuff. And let's just say that we just didn't attack. We just added units to the board and passed. An opponent now wants to play like a Roiling Sands, right? He needs that Roiling Sands to come in and activate his Zerath, and we've just kind of taken that opportunity away from him. And so definite reasons to just not make that previous attack with the sarcophagus, but I think this is still going okay. I'm not worried about our health. That's why I've just been taking these crackbacks. I don't want to lose our Sun Guardian. He's going to be in tip-top shape next turn, and so he'll be ready for battle. Adding in Leona now is looking pretty good. Cool. But right as you see the Restored Devout come in, he got to play that Rite of Passage. If we just let the sarcophagus sit, then we have some opportunities here in terms of what we're taking down and removing from the board. But like the thing that you have to stop and think about when you're making those plays is like, how do I actually come in and win this game? And that's going to require a champion strength, and that is something that the Sundisk deck can counterspell. And so I like to be a little bit more proactive, but it is something to think about that you can potentially get those takedowns. Now I'm just worried if we're going to say like fill out our board. I think this is okay to stop here. We're gonna start getting like the mega stuns with the Sunhawks and stuff, and so I think it's okay. It's like we're actually right on track to play a Eclipse Dragon on 7, Aurelion Soul on 8, but I worry that isn't it's not going to be able to attack through the opposing board. Okay. Not a big deal. We got a Solari to throw down. I'm interested in here now. Like, this is our turn to play Concerted Strike, right? If we're going to switch over to this game plan of Eclipse Dragon into Aurelion Soul, then we want a Concerted Strike, pretty much anything this round. And since he did just play, or he just played Rite of Passage to pick up Azir or Zerath, we should have a chance to drop it. So the thing to worry about with blocking with Leona is going to be Quicksand, which, it's not unrealistic to think that he has here. But let's just take a little hit of damage. We'll clear 1 unit off the board. Still save the Concerted Strike. Again, I'm not really worried about my health at this moment.
The oasis of the dawn flows again.
So 3 mana. Still could play an Azir. Doesn't come in. Not that big of a deal.
The sun's splendor revealed.
It's like he's getting to that point now where he's going to have to get involved in combat, and his combats are not particularly appealing. There's Zerath.
Follow the horizon. Forge ahead. Unwavering strength.
So, do we want to hit with the Sunforger? Probably do. Like, he has the good block on the Sunforger with the Soothsayer, right? He's going to immediately try and line that one up. But we're going to punch in for 9. I think that's getting us pretty close to these lethals. What the hell is this? What's the deal with this crystal thing up here on the left? Is this new? Is this fresh? There's a breaking crystal thing over top of his health. I don't think I've seen that before. Okay, not a bad round. This Zerath is not scary. He is nowhere near flipping. I saw him come down and I was kind of like, this might be a problem, but he's so small. You're so tiny, my friend. No one is scared of you today. Okay. However wrong this can go, I am on board for it. Yeah. The quicksand shouldn't do anything if he has a way to deal damage. Okay. Otherwise, looks like your dude just got boomed, and here comes Aurelion Soul. All right, probably just, well, we'll take the Living Legends. It's like there's a good chance that we flip the Aurelion Soul. Didn't really need it. We were just going to kill him with stuns the next turn, but we had a shot. Where are we at? We in platinum now? What is this, gold? Oh, didn't get enough LPs. Life's hard, man. Life's hard. So yeah, this will probably be our last video of this patch. If things time as they normally do, we should get like a patch notes tomorrow. I'll do a patch notes preview video or something, and then we'll start in with the new patch the day after that. I'm not certain since as I'm recording this, it's Martin Luther King Day in the Americas, and so I don't know if Riot works today or not, and that pushes off their patches or anything. But I suspect they're probably prepared and ready for it, and so I think it'll be hitting. But it's like the more I think and the more I speculate on the patch, I'm curious if they're actually going to do that much, right? Since it should be a pretty big patch following up with the release of the next set and the rotation and everything, and whatever proposed changes they have to make to the competitive scene. So I'm wondering if they say, the big one's coming. it's not here today. It's going to be here, on the next one. They say we're taking Vladimir out of standard. You gotta you gotta be prepared. You gotta be ready. As long as they don't take Legion Rearguard out, I think we'll be okay. If they take Legion Rearguard out, I'm probably just going to quit. If they take him out, they have to print a new card that's like a 4/2 or a 3/3 for 1 that can't block, and then we'll come right back. But you can't be taking cards like him out of the game. What you got? A 6 damage removal spell? Sure. It's very expensive. We can continue on with our big boys here. It is one of the kind of nice things with our deck up against darkness. If they don't have one of these draws to where they're increasing the power of their darkness, then their removal doesn't work against a lot of our guys. Between Sunforger, Ravoon, Eclipse Dragon, Leona, Aurelion Soul, like they're all too big for it. They tend to play like pokey sticks, group shots. They'll play the 1 mana drain, whatever, go hard, that'll come in on occasion. But like after their big collection of Vile Feast kind of cards, they tend to play a handful of either Vengeance or Minimorph, and then they count on dealing everything else with the darknesses. So if he doesn't have access to a big darkness, he can't really kill our big dudes out here. But just like with the last time we played this deck, we do need to come in and take the Vagar down. We can't let these darknesses grow. That's just that is his way to kill a Ravoon, kill a Leona. And Senna. Wow. At least he does lose out on a darkness this way. Like the 4 damage coming in isn't that big of a deal.
Ready to fire.
Your damage and kill spells accelerate. We'll see. See if we can't just take her down with Leona. Ooh, now a Sunburst comes in, the guaranteed way to go about it. No, I think I like adding in Leona. The thing is like as we go into the next turn, when we have that 10 mana turn, we can add Ravoon and we can add Sunburst in the same turn and not miss out on any of our Daybreaks. And so here he needs to have a big removal spell for Leona. We could even just almost ignore it. We could almost ignore Senna and just try and crash in for 1,000,000 damage. But yeah, that's fine. Right? She's still gonna get stunned. We're hitting for 10. I dig it. Now, one of the things we'll have to watch on this next turn is I would like to pick up the extra card from Ravoon. We may not need it, but if you play Ravoon first and then Sunburst, you get the Daybreak because it's day all the time. If you play the Sunburst first and then play Ravoon second, then you don't get it. He doesn't get to see the Daybreak because its day all time ability hasn't landed just yet. But this is fine. Dude's missing out on another darkness. He only has the mana to cast 1. I guess it's not that big of a deal. He'll get it this way now, but still get to take Senna down. Have a Sunhawk for next turn. Feeling good, man. So here comes this giant wave of of Solari Priestesses just looking to get that last point of damage in. I don't like just opening, though. If we open, he blocks a Sunforger and then has another card. The Ixtali's annoying. Then we have some issues, but see if we can't fight through here. Okay. So this is one of these spots to where you're going to get to make what we call the little to big attack, right? He has to block with the Ixtali. He's going to die here, but the thing you're looking to do as the things go away, he wants to block our big units like Ravoon, but he's going to end up dying before that block gets to happen. And so if we attack with all of our 2/2s, we had a 2/2, a 2/2, a 3/3, a 5 attack, and then a Ravoon, another 5 attack. If we attack with the little to bigs, he can ignore the first 2/2 fall to 1, but then he has to block the second one, and all of our big units down the row survive. They would have been enough for lethal here in this case anyways, but it's a good way to protect your better units, to where if we attacked with Ravoon all the way over to the left, he could have blocked, prevented that 5 damage, and gained 4. Then we may not have had as much of a chance for lethal. But we got him, yo. That's the way I always recommend to attack. If you don't know what to do, if you can't figure out how to sequence it, if you can't order it, just do a little to big. All right, though. We got our first aggro moment of the day up against Jinx Lulu. I will hang on to the Solari Sunforger. It's a little bit awkward given that we're on the odd attacks and we can't attack with it until turn 5. But now that we've picked up a second one, I mean, it is pretty reasonable to just shut down the opposing attacks with it. And so we'll see if that comes about. Now, one of the things I've kind of figured out in playing a bunch against Jinx Lulu is we probably won't have the opportunity here, but if you get to drop the Sunhawk on the opposing turn 3, and it gives you that chance to shut down the Lulu and take away that big Lulu Flame Chomper's attack from him. But here, I'm just going to get dudes on the board. We don't have much choice in the matter. And the bird. Okay. Filling out that board. Zoe is kind of interesting. Gets a nice shutdown on these Daring Poros. He can hook Zoe in with the Flame Chompers, so I'm not as excited about it right now. And so I'll just add the bigger unit in. These attacks should be good. He's running out of stuff to do. Like, if he has a Jinx in hand, then this kind of sucks. But if he doesn't have a Jinx, then he either just has to like live with what he has on board or start overriding things. Right, this attack right here is not good. Just FYI. There's not a lot of damage coming in. Alright, Sunforger in. It's, a touch of a waste of the lifesteal, but I think that now that we've drawn the third Sunforger, we're okay. We'll have plenty of time to cause shenanigans with it. Interesting he drops Jinx now, though. If he has a Rummage in hand, that would kind of make sense, but it's like you're about to get tied into the Ravuna, or get tied into the Leona turn. You would typically want to just like wait on my attack next turn, let that attack finish, and then you know that Jinx is safe to at least roll into the next round, and then you should hopefully be able to pull off those like 3 turns of Death Rockets. But she'll come in, she'll flip, we'll try and take the Jinx down. If we can keep him away from the rockets, then should be okay. That's a tall order. He got 4 cards in hand at this point. He had the Pokey Stick last turn. Uh-oh. So it has to be Rummage now if he wants to empty out his hand. Well, that thing as well. Okay. Oh, that's painful. That's painful. Our Leona's a little bit too small, and now we die to the double Death Rockets. Alright, we'll wait. We could technically draw a Guiding Light, but... Brutal round. I feel like we did everything we could to prevent every point of damage this game, and so... It's always unfortunate when these hit like that. I guess we could have played the Sunforger this turn instead of playing Leona this turn, but... Ooh, that's rough. Maybe that was the way to go about it, though. The thing that I had in my head with that one was that Leona was going to level up and be big enough to take down the Jinx, but I didn't stop to consider what happens if the Jinx levels up as well. I just thought that he was so far away, he'd never be able to do it. What? Maybe he can't level her up this round. That would be cool, right? I mean, when you play that scrap heap, there is always the chance that that you just don't have enough, right? If you have to pick up like a 3 or a 4 cost card. Maybe. Oh, Professor Von Meck. What a crappy one to have to hit. I guess you do get a lot of value out of him, but That does not seem ideal. Now single combat. Oh, what a huge draw. Letting us single combat off of the Sun Forger to gain an extra 5. Huge. Might have turned this one around, fam. So we can leave Jinx on board. There's like 0% chance she ever flips. I think, like, if we bring the hook in on the Poro, I don't want the elusive on board. That'll let us get Zoe in for free. Everything here dies to all the rest of our stuff. Okay. I mean, he does get to put the Perfectionist in front of the Sun Forger. Oh, he doesn't take that one either. Okay, okay, fam. Not today. Not today. So we did leave the Jinx up, but we'll see. We'll see if we got the time now. Another dangerous way to go about it, but I mean, he has to draw 2 more cards next turn, so could be tough to pull off. We have the Sunburst in hand as well, so if he's not bursting those cards onto the board, then we can get the takedown. Okay, okay.
Forger, your work is unparalleled.
Your work is unparalleled, Forger. All right, now that we got the Sun Forger on board, we can Concerted Strike. Do a +5 health with him as well. Let's strike down Jinx. I guess we'll hit with Zoe first. I can't imagine that he's got a way to barrier up the Jinx, but you know, we'll make certain. Now it feels okay. GG. Oof. Y'all was clenching him, right? Squeezing them cheeks a little hard, a little tough. Good nice squeeze in there. All right, we're going to cut this one a little bit short today. We're just going to do 5 games today. We'll see if we run into darkness or something again as a means to cut this time out, but I feel like we've gotten a good set of games in. I'm pushing up on the hour mark. We'll be at like 55 minutes after this game, and so it can be tough to get the full 8 in when you play 15-minute marathons against darkness. We'll see how fast this one goes. Up against Scion Rumble, they have a lot of opportunities for big early game blasts. But I found this to be kind of an interesting match, playing the Daybreak deck up against Rumble, since he's so typically tough to interact with, but you have a lot of opportunities to stun the Rumble with the Sunhawks and the Friends. So it can be pretty tough for him to OTK, but he does still get to like Vein tumble into the board. Interesting. We probably just want our width here, right? This guy's going to be pretty aggressive. Let's keep at it with the Solari Soldier, then we'll follow up with Zoe. If we just fully trade the boards here, it's probably okay. Like his card of importance is going to be Rumble, right? A single copy has always been putting in the work today. Alright, that was a scrap heap discarding Fallen Rider. Not too worried about it. He can play the Rider, then we can follow up with the Shield Bearer. Just the big shutdowns. It's the sweet part of having these giant units. Alright, anything cool in here? I think I'm okay with Equinox. Like, if he picked up a mid-cost... say he picks up, like, Smash and Dash, whatever the 4/4 is called. That's not ideal, but there's a lot of ability-oriented Mecha Yordles. And if we get to drop an Equinox on it, I'd feel pretty okay about that. The sad thing with Equinox and what I was kind of hoping for is that we would get a good target for a potential Rumble. So he does have the Smash and Dash. And now Squeaker. Okay. Cool, your attacks suck now. Cool, right? All right, we'll just keep building up board. It's tough for us to get a good champion strength on this upcoming turn. We have to throw so much of our stuff in front of the opposing units, but you know, it's getting close. It's getting there. I'm just going to add the Sunforger and pass. You know, it was too bad that he doesn't get to gain any health, but he's bigger than all the cards that the opponent has. And if we get to have him on board along with the Eclipse Dragon next turn, I'm going to feel pretty safe. Probably need to Equinox something here. I'm looking at the... well, what's going to happen? He's gonna hit with everybody. We'll block 4/4, either the Risen Rider or the Smash and Dash with our Sunforger. Then we're going to single combat down onto something else. We can try and get one block in with Zoe. He's got to open attack on us. We need to get something else on board. Danger Noodle. Alright, let's take down the Fearsome so we can block it with Danger Noodle. I just don't think we're going to get the dragon down next turn. It's too slow. He's got 5 units on the board. He's going to open attack. Okay, so we can block Smash and Dash. We're going to single combat in on Dum Dum here. Zoe, you've done the work. We just need to come out and prevent damage at this point. And so I want to block the Smash and Dash with our Sunforger. If opponent's like, okay, I'm going to Mystic Shot your guy, so it dies to the single combat, then he doesn't get the impact damage in. Still adding Sun Guardian. It's unfortunate we don't have the Daybreak for him, but just need dudes. Ugh. We can typically manage Scion if we have one of our Sunbursts, but we've passed through all the removal. This is tough. I think we need to add Ravoon in. Like, with the Eclipse Dragon, oh, fuck. Oh, man. You know what they say about that better lucky than good thing on occasion. We did a little better lucky than good right there. Alright, let's just pass. This is like... It has some opportunities to go well, in that we can block some of this stuff, but it just feels like if we attack with the Sun Guardian, he blocks with, I don't know, Risen Rider, and then he puts a Mystic Shot into the Sun Guardian. We're just like so far behind this turn at that point. Alright, though. Scourge ready to end the game. Let's see. We're going to block everybody. That's most certainly happening this round. Who do we care about keeping the most? Probably the dragon. Do something like this. Leaves all of our units with 3 health. So if he's going to play a get excited, he does get to, pick and choose who's going to die. But I think it's okay. And the Scourge coming in. I think we're there, fam. Could go either way. You could play the Champion Strength or the Wyvern. But let's be real, going for the Scourge is a lot cooler. It's a lot cooler. I guess if you want to... Oh, fuck. We don't have the mana. I did that thing where I count the spell mana. I was going to say, I don't think we have to worry about a... I don't think we have to worry about a signposts here, but that would be an argument for just dropping the Scourge as opposed to the signposts. There's not a ton of ways to just, like, stun, but the signpost is a card they probably don't have, but it does exist. So where are we at? We're at the 51-minute mark. Let's get one more in, and then we'll call it a day. We're assured to be playing a control matchup this round. It's going to take like 20 minutes to play this game, and you're just going to be getting some of that extra value, a little bit more of that bust that you were hoping for. What you got? Something with Legion Rearguard in it. Okay, Rumble again. That same Rumble we were talking about in the previous game, and so let's see how this one lines up. Got a really good curve. I don't think we want Pale Cascade. The interesting thing with Pale Cascade is potentially making a unit 1 health bigger than Rumble. I don't think I quite want to go for it, but there's some potential there. It's just going to be one of these games where depends on the units he plays and how they sequence. Like, I don't want to come out here and just be making trades. We want to stall this game out. And it's like, as we add in the soldier, if it has to come up to combat with like a rune forger, it kind of sucks. But if he's playing 2 power guys, then it gets to survive. And so we're going to just kind of line up our guys to be slightly bigger than his guys. I don't think he's going to play any guys, though. Or girls, any ladies. He's playing Vayne out here today. This is not a board Rumble wants to get involved with. It's like, wow, even like coming into the next turn, if he says like, oh, well, I got to play the Rumble and try and get away from this, we can pop the Spell Shield with the Sunhawk and then play a Concerted Strike to get the takedown. Opponent just had a terrible draw there. Not a lot you can do about that, but that is going to be our last game of the day. And so we can pull this up, talk about it a little bit more. And so the things that strike me with this is that as we kind of like come up into this next meta, I do expect Leona to be a little bit more popular. And the thing with these Leona decks that aren't the Noxus version are they absolutely shit stomp the Noxus version. And so I think it's going to be kind of interesting to see how things unfold and kind of like how quickly the Noxus version of this deck is just kind of like a blip on the radar before the remainder of the slower versions come in and just knock it completely out of the meta. And so if we're going to assume that the Noxus version doesn't last much longer, but we do want to be playing Leona, I think it's probably going to put us in a space to where you either have to say is like, well, I want to play this with Aphelios and have access to the Nightfall stuff, right? You do have a lot of nice Nightfall combos when it comes to like the day and night combo cards, the Eclipse Dragon, the Bird, and the Day's Night, whatever the 1-cost spell is, tied in with Ravoon. Or you can look to move over to playing just the bigger cards in Aurelion Soul, and this is the kind of space I would go. Just granted with the kind of cards that I like to play. I like to play Demacia, I like to play Rallies, and that's just more in tune with what I have fun with than what Aphelios brings to the table. And so I think that this is kind of an important deck to be aware of. The things that were kind of like downsides for this are, I think the Champion Strength belongs. but it definitely wasn't as good as a 4 mana Golden Aegis, right? This is the kind of deck that used to get to play Golden Aegis. Since it's been nerfed up to 5 mana, it's a lot tougher to fit in these turns to where you say, okay, well, I'm going to add like a fresh Leona or a Ravoon, and then I'm also going to play a Golden Aegis after I attack. That's just impossible to do if you're playing 9 mana spells and then 5 cost cards. And so that's something that you kind of lose on the champion strength. We don't have as much kind of like board presence as you would want with that, but I think it's probably a card that you're still just kind of stuck with. Now, granted, the games that we won with it, it wasn't really a necessity, so maybe you could find a way to kind of cut it out, but then you probably are a bit required to go up to a third Aurelion Soul just to make sure that you can draw it. You can't have these games to where you're hanging out with like 40 power of units on board, and you just can't deal any damage. It's just the overwhelm or rally aspect has to be accounted for. And if you start to move away from champion strength, then you have to count on Aurelion Soul to generate the expensive cards that give you overwhelm or give you elusive to close out the game, right? You can see in a lot of those games we just closed it out with that 9 mana elusive, and it didn't have so much to do with the cards that were actually in our deck. And so that's my only concern with this one is the rallies are a little bit more expensive than I really want to be paying, but it's just kind of the nature of the beast, and you have to be playing them. But otherwise, you do pick up you do get to pick up the various removal spells out of this. You get access to cards that aren't Sunburst, which is kind of the weak point of Targon, is their removal is all garbage, and having things like single combat with all of these really well statted units is a very efficient way to go with the removal. But good stuff, worth thinking about. I hope it brings you some success at the end of the patch here, and we'll see how it goes for the next one. And so, with that being that will do it for us today. And so, hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. So, this is Bust, and we thank you for being here.